Hi, this is Katie Weeks, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'm joining with the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team to share with you some ways to use 6x6 DSP to still make full 12x12 layouts. And I'm using this third card sketch as my inspiration on how I'm going to do my layout today. So I have picked out several of the 6x6 DSP papers from Bright and Beautiful, and I am going to cut them down to 3x6. And I have 6 different sheets that I'm deciding to cut down, and I'm going to space 3 across each of my 2 pages for the layout. And I really like these papers and the colors that are in them, and I'm going to be making a layout for my granddaughter's preschool graduation. And so I kind of looked at what she had on and what's in some of my other pictures, and so that's why I am choosing this Bright and Beautiful DSP. So one of those 3x6s I'm going to cut down to 3x4. So my sketch kind of had a ribbon or something going across towards the bottom, and I'm going to use that as my cutoff point and put some design elements through the page. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these other 3 sheets, and then I'm going to figure out what I want to put across the middle. So what I did was I looked at the packaging for the Bright and Beautiful and looked at the different colors that they had. And you don't see the pictures because I need to go develop them yet. But my granddaughter has on a pink dress. And so I picked the Bubble Bath cardstock, and I'm going to cut a 3/4 inch strip of cardstock for each of the 2 pages of my layout, and I'm going to run that down through the, not center, but just below center to put this layout together. And when I'm putting down these papers, I come in with a T-ruler, and about 1 inch from the top of the page is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to center it. So on my mat, I can see where 6 inches is, and I'm just working from there, and I will lay out all of the rest of these sheets to have about a 1/4 inch or maybe a little more between the different ones, and that leaves approximately 1 inch on each side. And then the bottom pieces, I just lined them up with the one at the top. And this is kind of one of those ways that you can fool the eyes with a 6x6 pack of cardstock, is you just make it look like something is still running the whole length of the page. Even if it actually is cut off someplace, you just make the eye think that it keeps going and going. And here you'll see I took that Bubble Bath cardstock and I just ran it down between those strips of paper and made it look like they continued on. And then I will do the exact same process for the right hand page of my layout. I will go 1 inch from the top, center that middle piece up at the 6 inch mark, and then I will add the others on the sides. The next thing I decided to do was I pulled out an old Stampin' Up! Punch that's like 1 3/4 inch for a circle, and those little pieces that I sliced off the bottom, I started punching some circles out of those, and then I picked out some other designer series paper out of the Bright and Beautiful, and I'm going to punch a bunch of circles out of those as well. And each of those designs actually has 2 designs because you have the 2 sides with different designs. So some of them have, just kind of a wash on one side, and then some of them have some other designs, and I think some have stars, and some have some little hash marks, and some have some little polka dots or stripes. It's just all sorts of fun things on the back. And so that's what I did, was punch up all of these pieces of 6x6 paper. And then I just kind of arranged them down that strip of cardstock And I don't mind whether that cardstock shows or not, but it did help me line up everything nicely. And so I arranged these kind of going down the sides of the left and the right and tried to vary the patterns and the placement of them and get a cute little arrangement. And then I used some of them to make some clusters around the layout as well. So I tried to put 3 circles in each cluster, and I have one at the bottom left, one at the top right of the left-hand page, and then another one at the far bottom right of the right-hand side of the layout. And then I'm bringing in a piece of Berry Burst, and I'm going to cut some photo mats with it. Now, I'm cutting out 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So what I like to do is line up my paper at 4 1/4, drop my blade at 6 1/4 and slice up. And then I rotate my paper 90 degrees. I go to 4 1/4 again, drop my blade at 6 1/4 and slice up. And I repeat this 4 times and go around the cardstock cutting that 6 1/4 mark. This is how you can get 4 of those photo mats out of one sheet of 12 by 12. And then once I finish all of those 4, the next thing I'm going to do is flip my cardstock over, and I will start lining my cardstock up at 6 1/4. You'll see here, I'm flipping it over, lining it up at 6 1/4. And then if I drop my blade at the 4 1/4, which is where that cut mark is, and go up, it gives me that perfect photo mat. So then this one, I don't think I sliced it far enough, so I had to go back and redo my slice. I didn't go quite to 6 1/4, so I had to correct that. So 6 1/4 all the way to the top, then flip the cardstock over, line it up at the 6 1/4, and then drop my blade at that 4 1/4 mark. And you do that 4 times, and you'll get 4 photo mats out of the one piece of cardstock. I hope that makes sense. And then you're left with this extra funny piece. And I ended up using that extra piece to cut my title and to cut some the letters out of the title. So that was actually perfect for the leftovers for a title. So then the only thing I had to do was to figure out the layout of my pieces, and I actually came back and sliced one of those photo mats in half to 3 1/4, and that way I had 2 small ones that I can possibly use for the pictures. So when I stuck my pictures down, then I went through and put my clusters on, and I actually used my dimensionals to put the last of the circles on each cluster so that it was popped up. And then I glued down all my circles down the middle of each page. When I was placing down all of those circles, I was careful not to put any adhesive underneath the part that was on the photo mat. That way you could easily slip the photos underneath those circles. And then I used my T-ruler again to line up the title across the bottom. And then I brought in some different gems and dots and little bitty pearls and just used those on each of those clusters just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. So make sure you go back and check all of the other girls out on the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team. Everybody is using 6x6 paper and showing you how you can use those on your 12x12 layouts. And I think it'll give you lots of great ideas. So here's one last look. And have a great day. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crafty inspiration.